The 4% rule, the formula behind financial independence. Most people plan their retirement backwards. They pick an age, 65, maybe 60 if they're optimistic, and assume that by then something will have worked out. A pension, savings, an inheritance, something. They don't have a number. They don't have a target. They just have a vague hope that the future will be more comfortable than the present. The 4% rule gives you a number, and once you have a number, everything changes. Where the rule comes from. In 1994, financial advisor William Bengen published a study analyzing historical market data going back to 1926. He wanted to answer one question. What's the maximum percentage of a portfolio a retiree can withdraw each year without running out of money over a 30-year retirement? His answer, based on decades of market cycles including crashes, recessions, and recoveries, was 4%. If you withdraw 4% of your portfolio in year one and adjust that amount for inflation each subsequent year, your portfolio has historically survived every 30-year period in the data, including the worst ones, the math. The rule works in both directions. If you know your annual expenses, you can calculate your financial independence number. Multiply your annual expenses by 25. That's the portfolio you need. If you spend 24,000 euros per year, you need 600,000 euros. If you spend 36,000 euros, you need 900,000 euros. If you spend 48,000 euros, you need 1.2 million euros. The number is specific, the target is concrete, and the path to it, a high savings rate invested in a diversified portfolio compounding over time, is well understood. Why it works. A globally diversified portfolio of equities and bonds has historically returned around 7% to 10% annually before inflation. If you withdraw 4% and the portfolio returns 7%, the remaining 3% covers inflation and keeps the portfolio growing in real terms. In good years, the portfolio grows significantly. In bad years, it shrinks, but historically, not enough to deplete it over a 30-year horizon if withdrawals stay at 4%. The critical assumption is that you stay invested through downturns. If you panic and sell during a crash, the sequence of returns works against you in the most damaging way possible. Early retirement losses are far more costly than late retirement losses because they reduce the base that future returns compound on. The rule assumes discipline, not perfection, but it requires the discipline to stay invested when everything feels like it's falling apart. The limitations. The 4% rule was designed for a 30-year retirement starting at 65. If you plan to retire at 40 and live to 90, you're looking at a 50-year retirement, and the historical data gets thinner at those horizons. Many researchers suggest a 3% to 3.5% withdrawal rate for longer retirements, which means a larger portfolio requirement. Multiplying annual expenses by 30 or 33 instead of 25. The rule also assumes a specific asset allocation, roughly 50 to 75% equities. An overly conservative portfolio might not generate the returns needed to sustain withdrawals over decades, and it doesn't account for major unexpected expenses, healthcare, long-term care, large one-time costs, that could force higher withdrawals in specific years, what it means for you. The 4% rule isn't a guarantee, it's a framework. The best one we have for turning a retirement savings goal into a concrete, achievable number. And the most important thing it does isn't tell you when to retire, it tells you what you're working toward.